How's everybody doing? Fantastic.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Good's great, right?
Yeah, no. It's traveling is insane. There's tornado watch, which super fun.
Wait. Okay, so
Right, which is like, why are you guys having a convention during tornado season? But
okay, so if this was to happen, what do we do? Like if a tornado comes through, like where do we go?
What do you do? I don't
Yeah.
fucking know.
Like what are we supposed to do?
I've never made it through a tornado.
Bathrooms? Okay.
So don't get under a desk. That's not going to help. Under the stage isn't going to do anything.
Okay, so we're all gonna run.
You want a basement? You want a bathroom? Not a kitchen, because there's knives. My God, I'm so unprepared for a tornado. I've seen movies, and they never end well, so,
Never.
As I was flying in, I was looking out the window of the plane. I was like, this reminds me of a movie that does not end well. As I was landing here.
And then, okay, we'll talk after about something that I heard about on the way about traveling. Do you know what I'm gonna say? Okay,
No.
so obviously, you travel around a lot. You get to do these conventions. Do you ever have time to actually get to explore the city? And if you do, is there something you like to do?
No, never. I've been in the hotel, so my manager comes with me, and she always makes fun of me because we get a chance usually on like a Friday or a Saturday night to go have dinner somewhere and do stuff, and I'm always like, hey, let's talk about the restaurant at the hotel. Like, why go far? Like, how are the cocktails there? We'll have a drink, we'll have dinner. So everybody gives me a hard time about not ever wanting to go anywhere, but I don't wander around much. Because there's no time, especially with the conventions. It's like you hit the day hard. It's exhausting. It's mentally exhausting, not so much physically, because physically I'm just kind of in one area and I'm signing things and saying hello, but it's mentally exhausting because I want to connect with everyone that comes up to the table. But it's just a lot. And mental exhaustion is, to experience that is really, it's a different experience. It's a different feeling, It's strange to, physically feel okay, but just I just want to, stare at the TV and watch something that doesn't take any thought or focus.
What do you like to watch? What's a good zone show?
What's funny is I watch the news. That's usually...
that's always uplifting and positive.
The news is usually the thing that I have to focus on the least. They just do all the talking for me, and I just get to kind of stare at it.
And that's how you know about the tornado warnings.
That's how I know about the tornado warning. That and everybody, getting to the airport now. They're changing their flights. They're like, it's going to suck tonight, so they're trying to get to the airport now. And I leave tomorrow.
Same.
So,
yeah. Connecting through Dallas, which
damn it, I'm going to Atlanta and then I go home from there.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens, right?
We'll pray for the best.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention, obviously, you have some tattoos. Did you know that they do tattooing here at the convention? Have you seen any of that?
No, I have not.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Is it?
Sure it is. Yeah. What if you? That's like getting tattooed at Disneyland. I can't imagine.
You wouldn't let Mickey just.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. Yeah. No.
I did it. I got
Elsa,
one.
give me a tattoo? No.
Yeah, no. I got tattooed at one of the GalaxyCons on my hand. It was fine. It healed fine.
On your hand?
It's still attached. It says, "Damn the man saved the empire" from Empire Records. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
How many times have you had to have that redone?
This is the one and only time, and it's been there for a year.
Because hands are, you wear the skin off.
Yeah, it's not you. Yeah.
Yeah, I have, my fiance and I got these. It says it's love, but it's an LO and then a VE on the other hand. So
That's cool.
when we hold hands, it's
That's so sweet.
it's something, I think she saw it on Pinterest or something like that. So then when we're not holding hands, it's self-love.
So important.
Super important. Yeah.
I think that's a cool tattoo.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Thank you.
It a lot.
And then I've got a lot that I'm having lasered off
Are
that I
you?
got when I was younger.
Oh my gosh, really?
That I look at now in the mirror and I go, what was I thinking?
Right. But fun in the time, right? Like in the
Super
moment.
fun in the time.
So great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I was 18, now I'm like, I turned 52 this year, and I look at some things and I go, what was I thinking? Like,
That's fair.
what did I
Well,
need the
actually-
life symbol in Japanese on my ankle for? Like, that doesn't,
Because.
you know, it's like all these like silly, ridiculous things.
No, I get it. I have Ric Flair on my arm, so it's all right. He
But
can
Ric
stay.
Flair's awesome.
He can stay.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
we like it. So obviously here, like being at a convention, surrounded by all things fandom.
Yeah.
What were some of the things you were into growing up? What were your fandoms?
So for me, I grew up in North Hollywood in Los Angeles. So I was big into skating when I was a kid. We didn't have the internet. So I had skating, wrestling a little bit, skating and hip hop were kind of the two for me. I mean, you got to think like mid to late '80s breakdancing started really coming up, and then I just fell hard into that culture, and then skating. So the first time that I met like Tony Hawk, Stevie Caballero, I was starstruck the same way a kid that loves basketball would be if it was Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or LeBron James. I was just out of my mind, and I've met everybody just in what I do, but those were my heroes.
And Tony Hawk, like, still looks exactly the same, still able to do this. Like, how?
He looks exactly the same, and I now, it's the craziest thing. I get to call him like a friend of mine. Like, I can text him and he'll text me or email me back, and I'm like, holy shit, how is this happening? How is this happening? It doesn't make any sense, you know? But it's great because it's the state of mind then that I keep myself in when I'm meeting people. Like, I understand it, you know? I obviously don't have any connection to 90210 and the show, but I have things that I connected to when I was a kid. The A-Team, Greatest American Hero, Three's Company, like these things that just meant the world to me when I was a kid. So I still, when I meet people from that era, it brings me back to that time when I was a kid, and it was all larger than life to me at that point, you know.
So you mentioned breakdancing. Have you seen Beat Street?
Of course.
The best.
Of course.
The best break.
Of course I have.
Over breaking or?
I had. Beat Street was pretty badass, and Beat Street had a really good. There was a really good cassette that came along with it. I remember the soundtrack to that one was great, and I actually danced along. I know, I miss cassettes. You put tape over I miss them. I miss them. They just don't exist in it. Those were the days.
Nostalgia's so fun though. It's the best.
I run into people now that come to the table and they have like VHS tapes of 90210. Yeah. And I'm always like,
you have
where
one?
the hell do you even play these? Right. Yeah. And I didn't know you can still buy VCRs on Amazon. I don't know if they're refurbished. I feel like I had this conversation yesterday with someone. I don't know if they're refurbished or they're new, but you're laughing because it's. So it's still hooked up to your TV with like the yellow, red, and white cables, and okay.
It gets worse. The only one I've been able to keep running is, those little kids' TVs with like the bow and stuff that you hook on top for the speakers.
Yeah.
Sure. It's one of those. It's literally a little box that we watch VHSs on.
Whatever works.
That's amazing. Honestly, whatever plays a VHS tape that you can find.
Do you have a Betamax? No.
Good
that
for
went
you.
Out, right? Betamax.
Betamax. My God, have you guys ever heard this story that, and I love that I ramble into these like tangents.
brilliant.
I'm so
I love
sorry.
this so much.
But we have a
No,
lot.
go,
I'm watching
go.
the clock, and we still have like 35 minutes to kill, and there's like
Let's
5
go.
of you, so let's go. Let's do this.
Okay. Settle
So Betamax, for anybody here that remembers that, because it was so short-lived, and it was the same thing with HD, DVD, and Blu-ray. They both came out at the same time. The deciding factor between Betamax and VHS and HD and Blu-ray was porn.
Oh, really?
Yes. Whichever format porn adopted is the one that survived.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yay, porn? I don't know.
Right, exactly. So
Way to go, porn. You
Right.
did it, guys. Like, you really made it.
saved humanity.
That's so funny. I didn't know where that was going.
And so again, yeah, so now you know where that went. And like I said, I am just gonna kind of wander through this, and we still have 33 minutes.
That's
So
brilliant. And we're learning things.
we are learning tons of random things. That's what is up here, is
Yeah.
tons of random shit.
So good.
It's what happens when you get old.
No, far from it. Was acting always the dream? Like, was that always what you wanted? What was the dream?
No, so my dad is a drummer, still a drummer professionally, and I grew up playing music. I went to all performing arts schools playing music. And I ended up going to a performing arts school on the USC campus in Los Angeles. And for those that don't know, USC is the top school for directing. People go there. So the school that I went to was on a corner of the campus, and so these directing students used to come to the school to choose kids for the projects that they did in class. And it would be kind of a weekend shoot. You'd go to the park or wherever it was, and they would do these kind of films that they had to turn in. And I did 2 or 3 of those, totally randomly, and it was really fun. And then a kid that I rode the bus to school with was doing commercials. And the only reason I knew that was because he always had all of the cool, like, little video game things. So I asked him, I was like, are you rich? Like, how do you have all of these, which the games back then sucked. It was like a car. It was like a car, but it would move like this, and like blocks would come down, and it was asteroids, like Pong. It was all these like little things. And he told me, he was like, no, I've been doing commercials for a few years now, and my parents let me keep a small bit of the money, like a small percentage. I was like, that's amazing. I want to do that. And I told my parents, I was like, I want to act. And nobody in my family had ever done it. And they said to me, if in 6 months you still want to do it, then we'll look into it and we'll figure it out. And 6 months later, I still wanted to do it. So I went and I met with his agent, and I signed to them for commercials and theatrical, like television and film. And I didn't work for a year. I didn't book any jobs. I auditioned constantly. But I didn't understand the concept of people were gonna pay me to do it, so I needed to show up to these auditions and be professional and do this. To me, it was just kind of this fun thing, and then I booked my first commercial randomly, which never aired. It was like a First National Bank or something like that commercial. But when I booked it, I understood. I understood what they were looking for. Like, I understood what I was doing wrong and what I did right that time. And I booked every commercial from that point on. I did about 75 commercials. And then I booked Knots Landing. I did that for 4.5 years. I was 9 when I joined SAG. So I've been in SAG longer than my fiance's been alive. Right? That's all you can do is laugh, because it's terrifying. And here I am. And I still love music. That is just a major passion in my life. But I love acting. I love being on set. I love the relationships that you create with people, aside from just actors and actresses. Like, I love the relationships with crew members and people that work, and transpo drivers and stuff like that. It's just so much fun. It's so much fun. I love it.
I was going to say, I also love hearing about people talking about, like, people behind the scenes as well, because they don't realize, like, that's such a huge part of these productions. I mean, if it's not for, like, key grips
sure.
and, like, boom operator, I mean, there's
For
such
sure.
a big part of it.
I feel like there's so many people that have to come together for something to work. And what we do as actors is such a small piece of it. The production piece in filmmaking making a television show, anything, is a really small piece in the process of it. Like you go to set and you spend months shooting all these pieces, but the idea is that you shoot these pieces well enough that then they can make a movie afterwards. And they make a movie in editing, in post-production, in sound, in all of that. So on set, it's just kind of you spend all the money and you have all the toys and the cameras and the things, and you try and get the coolest stuff you can on camera. And then they call wrap, and everyone assumes like, oh my God, you wrapped the movie. And it's like, no, we only wrapped the making, like the production of it that way. But post-production is where the magic either happens or it doesn't.
Right. Are there any other like elements of this industry that you have interest in, whether like production or directing, writing, stuff like that as well?
Directing, producing. I enjoy the creative process of it. I write a lot of my own stuff. Like I'll kind of rewrite things, or just in developing characters, you start finding a voice and things that the writer didn't even completely think of, because they're thinking of all of the characters in a complete story. And you come up with things sometimes where the writer goes, ooh, that's really good. Like I didn't think about that. That's really cool. And then sometimes they go, dude, stop. Just stop writing. Like your ideas are ridiculous. But I love the whole process of it. It's really addicting when you do it and it works. It's amazing to be in, like, say in editing, and you were on set shooting something and it just wasn't feeling right. And then you get in and you realize, oh my God, in editing, I can make this feel right. Like I can create these moments and these things that weren't there on film. I can make them I can create these like pauses between people that didn't exist by just cutting back and forth between moments when they were listening to each other, and I can create these really cool things that weren't there.
Yeah, that's great.
It's fun.
So obviously it would be remiss if we didn't talk about Beverly Hills 90210. So like you mentioned, when you were growing up and you said something suddenly like switched in your brain and you got it, right? And then
Yeah.
you were just getting. Mm-hmm. What was it about your role in the show that you just, did you instantly connect with the character? Did you get it right away?
Oh my God.
What was it?
No. No. So 90210 was, it was a pilot. I mean, back during that time in the industry, you had a pilot season every year, and you had 3 major networks. We had NBC, CBS, and ABC. Fox was this like tiny fledgling network, and every year you would do as many guest things as you could and commercials and whatever as an actor, and then you'd book a pilot and you'd go and shoot this one-off episode, and then the episode would go back into the network and they would run it with test audiences, and they would see if it worked or not, and if it did, if you were lucky enough, then they would pick it up and they'd order 9 episodes of it or however many they wanted to pay for. So I had done probably 15 pilots before the Beverly Hills 90210 pilot, which was called Class of Beverly Hills. It wasn't even called Beverly Hills 90210. So when I got the script for 90210, it was just another pilot. It's like, okay, we'll do this one. I didn't love it. Like it wasn't a pilot that stood out to me. I think our show wasn't necessarily on the page. I think it was an energy and an emotion that was created for the audience that watched it, that they connected with. The words were none of it felt like we were doing anything incredibly magical when we were on set shooting it. But we got really lucky. We were on Fox, which was so small at the time. They didn't have anything to replace us with. So they were like, yeah, let's just order the rest of the season. Let's give it a shot. And nobody watched our show for the first season. We would go do like pie eating contests and all sorts of things to try and promote the show. And then they came up with the concept of, oh, we'll change the name of the show from Class of Beverly Hills to Beverly Hills 90210. And we were like, you guys are just fucking dooming this process. Like, nobody's ever gonna remember those numbers. And they did. And the show, we did summer episodes after the first season, and it went from nobody watching it to it being summer break and kids having nothing new to watch except for our show. And it just took off like wildfire. It was unbelievable.
I mean, but talk about the perfect casting of a show. Just like everybody was.
The show was really well cast, but and this is, other people feel differently about it, but I honestly feel like the show was the star of the show. And we were all just a cast. We were a bunch of actors that were on it. I think for a lot of us, David Silver, it could have been another young actor at the time that had done it. And I think it would have been, the character would have been just as successful. Would have been different, for sure, because in writing, they ended up taking a lot from us as actual people and they brought those ideas into the character, the music stuff, the dancing stuff, all the things. But 90210, the show itself, was the star. I mean, most of the time when we're referred to as Jason Priestley or Brian Austin Green from 90210. Like, it's not, our names don't have as much weight on their own as the name of the show does.
Interesting. Okay. I like the perspective, but if
we still have 21 minutes.
Yeah, but
oh my God, what are we gonna do?
But we've already talked for 20. This is
I
going
think
by
we should
so
talk
fast.
about your hair.
Okay, what do you want to know about my hair?
It's fantastic.
I did want to mention something, that you were a judge on a show that I did. I wasn't on the episode, but the show I Can See Your Voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You were on?
Yeah, I was the wrestling announcer.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and on my episode it was Jewel that
Yeah.
I got to sing with, so it was
Oh
really
my
cool.
God.
Yeah,
That's
it's a fun
crazy.
show. Have you guys
Has
seen the
anybody
show?
ever seen that show?
Ken Jeong.
I Can See Your
Yeah.
Voice. It's a really fun show.
Yeah.
It's for people that haven't seen it. It is there's a panel of their 3 full-time like regular judges, and they bring in celebrities, and you watch contestants come up and either truly sing or lip sync to things, and you have to the panel of judges has to figure out who there is actually a singer and who is just completely bullshitting, and they ask questions of the people to figure it out. And so then you're kind of like, you're getting rid of people. I don't think that person that is claiming to be a doctor is actually a good singer. And you go all the way through to the end, and like Jewel was singing in the episode and would sing a duet with somebody. With whoever was left as a contestant. And it could be somebody that stepped up that is a really good singer and you win the whole thing, or it's somebody that just steps up and they're tone deaf and they're awful, and the person that's gone all the way to the end that is the contestant loses all of the money that they were, which happened with our episode. And we felt so bad that the money that I was paid to do the show, I donated to the contestant, because I felt terrible. It was like, God, this person listened to me, and I took them all the way to failure, which is, you know,
That's what makes the show great.
I know it's what it is, but I still felt terrible.
So do you think I was a singer or no?
No, I didn't think you were a singer.
Okay, interesting. But
Are you a singer?
maybe.
What do you mean, maybe? Why are you stringing everybody along?
Do you want me
We're
to
not
sing
playing the
something?
song right. Yes.
Okay.
We still have 19 minutes.
So this is what I would have sang had I been eliminated, but like I said, I made it to the end with Jewel, so. Okay, ready? I'm nervous.
Well, get over that.
Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Why is everything so confusing? Maybe I'm just out of my mind. Yeah, 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 that I would have sang, but
Oh my
I
God.
didn't.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
Very good. Should not have been nervous.
Thanks. But then I got to actually be a casting producer for the show as well, so
That's amazing.
that was cool. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what are you doing with the music that you're doing now?
Nothing.
Why? Why not?
This is kind of what I do now. Like I do these conventions and then I do casting and yeah.
So you're not working on an album or singing on other things, or you got to change that. You got to change that.
Maybe I will.
I think I'm a strong believer in the things that you are gifted with in life, pursue them. Just pursue them as often as you can and use them, because that's an amazing talent that not a lot of people get, what you were doing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And maybe that'll be the thing that changed. Thank you. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. Well, with our 17 minutes left.
Right, yeah. We still have tons of time.
Yeah,
So anybody have any questions?
Yeah, let's take some questions. It's up to y'all if you want to come to the microphone or if you want to say it from your seat, whatever. Yeah.
You can yell them out from the back if you want.
Yeah.
I can't imagine we'll have a tough time hearing you.
Yeah.
No, because Brian Austin Green is 52. David was 17. Brian Austin Green needs to stretch for like 2 days before he dances like 17-year-old David Silver.
All right, great singing, by the way.
Hey.
Mention that. And
This guy has some tattoos that he was showing. Amazing work.
I heard some. I don't know if I watched it on the Eat Your Hollywood Story or whatever like that, and I only remembered it because when I came in, you guys were talking about porn or something like that.
You really walked into something. You were like, "Wow, this is a panel, isn't it?"
Yeah. So I was wondering because I think I heard a story that when you guys were shooting, you guys were close to a porn set.
It was
or
right
something?
next door.
And then
Yes.
you guys used to try to sneak
a
over.
porn manufacturer. No, we didn't have to sneak. They invited us over,
Okay.
and they would let us wander the aisles and shop. Yes. Oh yeah.
The one thing I will say about Beverly Hills 90210, I mean, that's what I liked about brand new networks when they were up and coming, because you got 21 Jump Street, you had Married with Children, The Simpsons, you guys, everybody, that's why I like new networks, because they take a chance on a lot of shows that other networks, the big ones, would just this is nothing, and pass on.
For sure.
So that's what I just say that, and like I said, they're on season 10 right now. I remember I was just telling you about that.
We were so lucky that we were on Fox, because I think any of the other 3 networks would have given us the first 13 episodes, and that would have been it, and nobody would have ever seen it, and I wouldn't be sitting here, and I wouldn't be signing autographs or having this panel talking about pornography.
The last thing I want to ask is, did you guys do the summer stuff first, or did Saved by the Bell? I don't know if they copied you guys, or did you?
We did the summer stuff first.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I remember they did something similar.
Yeah.
Like with you, and I was like, and then I just later on I was like, I wonder who did that first, or if they just said that's a good idea. Let's do the same thing.
We were the first. We were the first ones, because our show was unique, just in the episode, in the audience that we were trying to attract. We were the first show of its kind that was a nighttime primetime show for teenagers, and so teenagers, when we were first on, they were going to school, and then on Wednesday nights they were going to bed because they had to wake up the next day. So it wasn't until the summer ones, all the other shows that were on network television were in rerun, and we had these fresh new episodes, and we tried to be as close to the schedule of the regular year as possible. So when people were picking out Halloween costumes, we were picking out Halloween costumes on our show, or trick-or-treating, or decorating for Christmas, or doing those things. So people started feeling like there was such a similarity between what it was we were doing and what they were doing. It wasn't about the area that we lived in so much anymore on the show. It was about the fact that we were in school dealing with a lot of the same things that they were dealing with.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, so if you had to go back and rewrite the script, instead of dating Tori Spelling, would you date one of the other girls, like Kelly or Brenda?
That's a whole different show,
Right.
girlfriends.
First of all, we were related, so that change wouldn't have happened. I honestly don't think that I would change any of it. Like, I think the character arcs and the stuff that was happening was really interesting. I think the writers did a really good job in watching and watching what the audience was interested in and what they weren't. And I loved the fact that David and Donna started together and then they went in a completely different direction and they dated all these other people and then they found themselves together again. I thought it was really fun, and that wouldn't have been the same storyline if it was with somebody else. It worked for those two characters because they were young, they were kind of the outsiders, so they found this really unique friendship and love for each other, which lasted for 10 seasons.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, Billy.
What was it like working on the set of CSI?
It was interesting, CSI. Wow, good one. It's funny. People mention things and I forget that I did them. That one was really fun. That was what was the lead actor's name? The redhead guy. David Caruso. So, he did all these really interesting, like, he had all these intricacies and things, like he did the stuff with, the glasses on and he'd take them off and he had all these things. And I remember just kind of watching the show as a fan before that and going, oh, it's really like, it's odd that he has all those things. But then you get to set and he's talking to the camera guys and he planned all of it. So like he would be talking in a scene and he'd go, okay, so then he'd talk to the camera guys and he'd go, okay, so then at this point, I'm going to kind of look this way. And then I'm going to take the glasses off and I'm going to look over. Like it was all planned. And he did such an amazing job at it. And it's, as an actor, it's seeing those little things that made me a better actor. Because I realized that, he understood the concept of, I want to make sure that all of these pieces are good enough that they can, in editing, make something great afterwards. So that show was really fun. I had a good time on that. And I was David Caruso at that point, he had come off NYPD Blue. So he was like king of the world at that point.
That's a good question. I was going to say, do you want to do like a really dramatic glasses removal for us?
No, I just did.
Okay.
So if you didn't buy it, I just need to work on it more.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
What was it like working on Smallville? You were playing the bad guy.
Smallville was cool. So Smallville, I originally did because my oldest son is 23. And as a parent, you start finding like you want to do things that make you cool for your kids. You do. Like that becomes a really big driver in what it is. You want your kids to think that you are awesome. So I did Smallville because I was like, it's a Superman villain and it's this whole thing. My son didn't give a shit about Superman. He's a Star Wars fan. Right, he got that from me, being a Star Wars fan. Let's go. But it was really, really fun. So I did 2 episodes of the show. The first one, the origin of Metallo, was great. It was super fun to shoot. And the woman that directed the episode, she had only been an AD up until that point. It was her first time directing. And she was really passionate about what she was doing. She had all these great ideas, and we worked really well together. And then the second episode, I didn't love the same way. And a buddy of mine, this guy Derek, who I did a podcast with for years, he did the Smallville podcast, and he did the podcast for Sarah Connor Chronicles. And he asked me to come on the first episode that I did of Smallville and talk about it. And then the second one, come back on. And I didn't speak as highly of the second episode. And I think the writers and the producers heard it because that was the last episode that I did. Yeah. So taught me a it taught me a lesson at that point, like, you know, keep my opinions to myself on podcasts.
Fair enough, fair enough.
8 minutes, let's
Oh my-
go.
We are killing it. This
Let's
is
do this.
This is amazing.
Do you have a favorite like storyline of 90210 that you just enjoyed filming or related to?
The crystal meth storyline was pretty fun. only because, it sounds terrible. Only because I had no, so I've never experimented with drugs at all, other than like smoking weed in my life. So I had no experience, I had nothing to draw from in doing that. So I had to really take time to speak to other people that did understand it a little bit. So it was really outside the box for me to be doing. It was one of the things that truly, like, in doing it, I felt so separated from myself doing it. There were a lot of things that I did where I would do them and they were so close to home. It was hard to separate being at work and the character and then going home and it being different. That storyline wasn't that. It was, I would work and then I'd go home and it was like, God, my life at work is so different right now from my life here. So that was, I think that was my favorite. And all the group stuff that we did on the show, I really enjoyed. We didn't get to work with each other a lot. We all had these different storylines, and it wasn't like a show like Friends where it's a sitcom and it's everybody together all the time, and everybody on some level works with everyone, and you do that every episode. Our show was like, it was David and Donna, and they're camping, and they're doing their own thing, and then these other storylines were happening, and we didn't really know anything about them. So when we would have these Thanksgiving dinners, or we all show up at this charity event, it was really fun because we were all together. What? Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, please.
What is something that you've done that you wish more people recognized you for?
Sarah Connor Chronicles. I loved that show. I've always been a huge fan of the Terminator franchise. And I remember when I got the call for the audition for that, the scenes that I read were kind of rewritten just for the audition, so you didn't really know who the character was, and they were very secretive about the whole thing. But I was such a huge fan. I was like, oh, I've got to book this. Like, this is going to be so much fun. And I loved that show. It was really ahead of its time. I think the internet and streaming weren't really happening, and the show there was so much going on. It was so serialized that if you missed an episode, then the following week you had no idea what was happening. And so we steadily lost audience as we were going because people in work and in life would miss episodes. And even though we would try and do these like recaps at the beginning of, the next episode, it wasn't enough.
Wow.
It wasn't enough information. People were like, I still don't get it.
So, okay, you mentioned being a fan of the Terminator franchise. Did you ever have the opportunity to go on, I guess we'll call it a ride at Universal Studios?
On a ride?
Yeah, it was kind of like, I guess they'd be calling it a ride at Universal Studios in Orlando.
They had a Terminator ride?
Yeah.
No, because I live in Los Angeles, so I honestly hadn't been. Was it good though?
It was
a good
so
ride?
it was like an additional footage that they had spent. It's like considered one of the most expensive movies ever made. That they made like additional footage.
T2?
But it wasn't T2. It was like T3. I don't know what to call it. It was all new footage.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cool.
How did I not know that?
I don't know, Brian. Where were you?
Right. What kind of a fan am I?
Yeah,
I
just
didn't know.
like-
Forget it. Forget everything I just said. I don't deserve to call myself a fan of the franchise.
you do because you were part of it. So.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we do
We
have
have 3 minutes and 43, 42.
but we have a photographer here.
Oh, okay.
So if we can, if it's okay with you, we're going to take a big group picture with
Yeah.
everybody in our
Yeah,
time
let's
that
do
we
it.
have remaining.
Everybody's going to have to come together in the
Yes.
middle.
You guys are going to come to the stage,
All
just
10
not
of
on
you.
the stage.